You're listening to Glad Estates Radio with your hosts CoCo and Gregory, right here on LA Talk Radio.
Ooh. Scary real estate today. He's gonna get you. Wow. Hello, everybody. Thank you for tuning in.
Woohoo!
I'm your host, CoCo, and my co-host right here, Gregory. Hey! Woo.
Hey! I have arms. Woo!
How are you, CoCo?
I'm scary. I don't know. I've lost everything.
Why are you scared? From all?
Scared.
What scares you?
There's scary real estate happening out there. Not
know,
with our
right?
clients, but with other people. They're scaring me.
It's, finally, it's that time that where we can speak about scary stuff that are happening in our industry, right?
Ooh. All the time. I mean, just tonight. Just
Right.
tonight.
Yeah,
just tonight.
Never had a scary experience.
No, why?
So thank you all for tuning in. Give us a call, 818-570-5085 if you have a scary story to share with us.
Yes. We want to hear your scary stories. It's the Wednesday before Halloween. We know you don't want to watch the debate. Anyway.
I know, right?
That's scarier than anything.
There's nothing more interesting right now out there other than us, I think.
We're it. Just call me Gregory and I'll call you CoCo. We're good to roll.
Okay. Did I do that?
Yeah.
Oh, I did?
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought you did it on purpose.
No.
I didn't
even realize I did it.
You know, right. Good.
Anyway.
Well, Grigor, right? It would be Grigor if you were Armenian, and we could go with CoCo as your nickname,
Exactly,
so you'd be CoCo.
yeah.
So no problem.
No problem.
And clearly CoCo sounds like Gregory on my side, so right on.
Exactly.
So, what are we going to talk about? Well, let's tell everybody what's happening. This is the week before Halloween. It's the week of, actually.
Yeah.
Halloween's just a few days away.
Good times.
Yeah, Halloween.
Mm-hmm,
So we're going to have a little dialogue about, we're going to tuck all the kids in tonight who are listening to their real estate stories, and they can check out all the different scary things that happen in real estate. Ooh.
Yeah, we have lots to share. An hour is not enough, but trying to make it.
But just enough to keep you on your feet and tucked into your beds. If you're at home right now, please go ahead and roll in your bed. Pull up your blanket.
Call us in if you ever had a scary experience, whether with an agent or a lender, or you went to a house and
ghost.
you felt weird. Call us. Tell us everything. We have some things in mind we want to share with you. Like last year, one of the most scariest things that happened to us in real estate in a transaction last year.
Yes, there are scary things that happen sometimes, but that was not something that we had anything to do with. Thank goodness. It was just, one of our clients was in a transaction with, and poor kids. That was scary. So you want to tell? Should we give them a little idea of what's going on? So here we are. Once upon a time, it was a dark November day. Oh, actually, it was October. Yes.
Like these days last year.
Mm-hmm. Scary times. And one of our clients was in a transaction on. In this case, they were selling their property, and the lender that was giving the loan to the buyer. The poor buyers were working so hard on
having everything be organized, everything in time.
They did everything possible. I mean, these two are highly trained professionals. They had lots of cash and liquid funds and easily qualified across the board and different areas, and could get into any kind of loan with any lender they wanted to. Remember that, Gregory? Remember that?
I do.
I know, right? And these lovely kids even were in a transaction on one property and had jumped over into this property because they loved this property so much. Well, this lender they had been working with kept,
Plus, they were getting married, and there was
Oh, my
it
goodness.
was all, they were
Yes.
very stressed,
and they were so nice
and
to
they had to be
everybody.
in time and all that.
They were so nice, such nice people. I mean, great people. And this lender had helped them, told them they got qualified, told them they had everything they needed. And then things started to sound really funny on our side. We started hearing stories, and I think these poor buyers were being told stories left and right, that suddenly that they couldn't qualify because they needed to now pay off a car. Now, mind you, they hadn't bought a new car. It was the same car they had been qualified with. And then they were telling them something to the effect of, oh, we have to get more paperwork from you to prove that this is your income
Now, these buyers were pre-approved already.
by the same lender.
Yep.
So,
So the lender, long story short, the lender said already that he can do it,
ooh.
that it can be done.
Right. They
Gave
had
the
already guaranteed it
pre-approval.
wasn't an issue. It had gone through everything. And these guys talk about what we saw on our side of it. What we saw was that every time we contacted them for anything, they were on Johnny on the spot.
Yeah.
We
On
asked
top of
them
everything.
paperwork or anything that was needed. They were clearly able to produce anything at any given time. Yeah, it's just my arms now, huh? And ooh, where will they end up next?
I'm sure we look very weird. I can't wait to see the show on repeat tomorrow.
And so then the lender told them that they were going to try to submit their loan somewhere else, and that suddenly they didn't qualify for this loan. Now, mind you, they had already removed almost all of their contingencies at this point, meaning that they had been told that everything was fine.
Mhm.
And then this was now the day before their wedding. Can you imagine the day before you're getting married, the day before you're planning the biggest moment in your life, along with buying a house at the same time? So two of the biggest things that could probably happen in your world are now happening at the same time.
And it wasn't their fault. They had planned everything, and they had planned to close before they get married.
Yes.
Like 2, 3 days, 4 days before
Yes.
they get married, so they can have like a cushion of time, to
That's
be
right.
done with it, out of their minds, and so they can go get married in peace.
Yes, and fortunately in this case, our sellers were really looking for a little additional time. So it worked out well that they needed more time anyway. So
Yeah.
it was good. Now, come that evening, these poor buyers are told, their agent is on the phone telling us that they were on the phone with this lender, and we sort of got a sneak peek behind the scenes version of the phone call. And fortunately, their agents were really working hard on getting them pre-approved with someone else at the same time. Thank goodness, because this lender then said he might have to tell them, the agent had said, listen, remove all your contingencies, right? Can they move forward, or can they get this loan, or can they not? Meanwhile, this lender is telling them, yes, but don't do that. Don't do that. Listen, if your lender tells you you're fine, but don't remove contingencies, you have to ask why.
Yep.
So we were really fortunate. We actually had a great relationship with those agents, and we didn't want anybody to lose anything. So that's the scary part. The part that's no longer scary is that then it's no longer Halloween. So the flip side of that is there's a happy ending. I know, not so scary for Halloween, but that's okay. They were scared, and we were scared for them. So another lender, we referred them into their agent.
And by the way, they loved this house. They felt right the moment they walked in, they felt that this would be their home.
Their house.
They really, really loved it. And what happened was this home went in escrow, and they were really disappointed. Then we were looking for other homes, but they never, with no other home, they were feeling, as good as with this one. And then we really, it was really their home. And then guess what? Before we go to escrow with another one, they call and say that it's available again, right?
No, we called their
Yeah.
agent to tell them that
Yeah.
this house, because our original buyer for that house.
Yeah. So they were really,
couldn't
really,
make
really
it.
happy.
Yeah, so they were already going into escrow on another property.
Yeah.
And then found out that this one was available, hopped on
Again.
over.
Mm-hmm.
So they were thrilled. And fortunately, the moral of the story, the end of the story is that we were able to refer them a different lender. That lender, lickety split, put it all together, did everything, went out and met with them that night before their wedding. Can you imagine the night before you're getting married? You have to talk about that. But this woman had driven out all the way from Orange County, came all the way up to LA County, was immediately Johnny on the spot. And
It was our special forces.
yeah, it was. It's the team, we had to make sure everybody was okay. And you know what was really great? I got invited to the wedding. They got the house. Their loan went through, but the moral of the story is, the scary part is, ladies and gentlemen, please, please, please work with your lender. Get some feedback. If they have great connections with people that you trust, make sure you've got that, okay? Because things can happen. What had happened was this lender was basically lying through the whole thing. That deal would have never gone through, and they would have easily lost their deposit. So fortunately, it ended well. That was my first scary story.
Right.
Do you have a scary story, Gregory?
Also, I wanted to add that when you see like red flags, like, oh, the lender starts to disappear, or he talks about tomorrow, and tomorrow about tomorrow, and tomorrow talks about tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yes, that's scary. The
that's
never-ending night, the night that never ends.
Exactly. You should be.
I'll call you tomorrow. Tomorrow.
You know what else is really, really scary in real estate?
Pesmo.
For sale by owners are really scary.
Boy, oh boy, you are not kidding me. If we got a story for you about for sale by owners.
Yeah. Not only it's scary, what can happen to them, to the buyers, to the transaction, how everything can easy like that can fall apart. But also, it's very scary, like when they're not represented, they have to show their own homes, and they are not.
Sometimes there's a reason why people don't have an agent, and sometimes there's a different reason why people don't have an agent.
Exactly.
And what do we mean by that? Sometimes people, listen, very smart. We've talked about this before. They're very brave people who are for sale by owners. In the end, it's not. We've talked about how fiscally, it's not the best way to roll. However, there are other reasons why people don't.
Right.
Have an agent.
So one day,
Gregory decided to what?
to go preview a for sale by owner.
Where did you take me?
For
big,
sale by owner.
Scary, mean person you?
To meet a for sale by owner, because there was no other way for him not to be there. We had to preview a home for our client and take some pictures, and some better pictures than the ones that were up there, because they had they were from the for sale by owner, and they weren't that good. We talked about that in the past. So
it started off great.
Yeah. So we wanted to go there actually and take our own pictures and maybe a short video.
So we went to the
I
grand
go,
city of
CoCo, let's go.
Encino.
You have 30 minutes? Yes, I do. All right, let's go. So we go there.
La la
and
la, happy-go-lucky. La la la.
We go there. The guy opens the door. We go in. We start looking, chatting a little bit with him, and go ahead, take it from here.
Oh, me? I get to take
yeah.
over?
Yeah.
I know it's kind of scary talking about even today. So I was asking him a couple of questions about, what was he? I wanted to get a better understanding of what they needed in order to close the transaction, because for our buyers, we needed to kind of prepare them for what to expect, so we can know how to write the offer and know how to make it work for everybody.
Right.
Well, I don't know.
A normal conversation,
Everything was absolutely fine, and he let us in. Now, mind you, it was a one-bedroom condo, right?
Yeah, one-bedroom condo in Encino.
Right, and went into the one room and then came out the other, and then he's basically standing in the doorway. Well, or on the other side, inside, and he was a big guy. How tall do you think this guy was, Gregory?
Definitely taller than me. But I mean,
He was
everybody's
way taller than me, even with
everybody's
heels
taller-
on.
Everybody's taller than me, but I'm just saying.
No, they're not. You're not. It's not like you're short. You're like 5'6". I'm like, with heels on, I'm like, 5'8", 5'9". Okay, if I'm wearing really tall heels. So this guy, somehow, he says, are you saying? He somehow, like, honestly, out of nowhere, I think my question was, what did he need in order to, how much time would he need in order to complete on
like
his side?
to
'cause
move out and
his
do
mom
whatever he
lived there,
needs
yeah.
to do.
And he said, all of a sudden, out of nowhere,
His attitude changed completely.
he says, what? What are you saying? Are you saying I can't handle this? Are you thinking I can't do this? He starts yelling and screaming, and the guy was probably, I don't know, he's an extremely built guy.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, what was my job before this?
Deputy.
I was a deputy for LA County. Now, I was starting to think maybe the guy was kidding because it didn't seem to make any kind of sense why he was so animated.
I didn't know who to calm down, CoCo, because she was gonna tackle him down, or
was not.
him, or I didn't want to have any.
I didn't understand why he was upset. I was like, "How? We just had 15 minutes of fine dialogue. What's happened?"
Yeah, all of a sudden, he like
Snap.
yeah.
Boom. He was like, "Are you saying I can't handle it? Are you saying that I can't do the paperwork?" And the guy was suddenly from like this olive tone color to like he was definitely hot
Yeah.
red, pink, and furious, and his arms were roll.
And he was standing by the door like, "Hey guys, you're not going out."
He was not going
And
to
I
let us
was like,
pass.
"Oh, okay.
I was like, whoa, what's up? And then I was stunned and shocked. I said, well, no, of course not. No one would say that. But he was so triggered. He was so triggered
Yeah.
somehow that he was literally furious. And then he was screaming and getting closer and closer to me. And I honestly had not been in a situation like that. And I certainly hadn't thought about that in the many years since I've been
Who knew?
away from the department.
And it was like Encino, in a good neighborhood of Encino. It wasn't like,
Yeah,
Skid Row of downtown LA.
not at all. A very nice community, nice area.
Yeah.
Man, and the thing, I think I was stunned more than anything. I wasn't expecting that
Yeah, it was
to come
like,
up.
We were both looking at him like, hey.
Oh my!
What?
And he was furious. He was furious, and honestly, he kept coming closer and closer to me, and I was backing up.
Yeah, so anyway, I jumped in the middle and, I tried to calm both down, I mean, especially him.
Me?
He
I wasn't
like,
even
no,
mad.
No, you were,
I was scared.
yes, he was scared.
I'm like, whoa.
I was like, okay, dude, all right.
I think you said something like, "Oh, she was just kidding," even though it had nothing to do with anything. Oh,
Yeah, I think
you were like,
something.
you did the old move I used to do. Crazy works great on crazy. By the way, if you're ever in that situation, crazy works on crazy. Be crazier. It's kind of like,
Yeah. If he's like
Be crazy.
10 times crazy, be like 20 times crazy.
yeah, be totally nuts.
Out crazy him.
Yes. Well, when I worked detention, it was great because, like I said, it would, how are you gonna fight the big guy
Exactly.
in detention? You don't.
So anyway, yeah, but we were like really
don't.
really surprised of that, his reaction, and we didn't say anything. He was not, we didn't say anything to offend him, and then he calmed down and he kind of realized what he did. He was like, oh, okay, I'm sorry. And then
He was like, oh, and he was sweating. Remember, he was sweating
Yeah,
so
yeah.
much. Like he was like,
he had
irate.
he had like a problem like mentally. I don't
remember
know.
we heard later from someone else who had gone over to speak with him that it turned out he had a really bad relationship with his mother. Remember, he was like, he's upset with her in some way. So
Yeah. Anyway,
be careful out there, kids. Don't go trick or treating on for sale by owners' doors.
always let your agent know what you're doing.
Please. And it's a great representation because the truth of the matter was also, like, we were going to come back.
And I'm going to ask you this. Do you think that this for sale by owner, I don't know what happened if he continued being for sale by owner, if he sold or whatever he did. Do you think that if he would continue being for sale by owner, he would have any success in getting top dollar for himself? Like how?
We were never going to come back. There's no way we were going to come back.
Even though I had 10 buyers for him, I would never go back to him.
No buyer. Can you imagine the poor buyer if they'd gone in there? What if it was just a single woman who didn't have anybody?
and
What if you hadn't been there? Honestly.
Which buyer would like to put up with a situation like this in order to get a home, Just go across the street, get another one.
Yeah, like, bye. No. That was fun times. Good times. For sale by
So
owners.
that was
Yay.
one. Then we also have another story.
Are you having fun yet, kids?
Another scary real estate story that wasn't a transaction or anything. It was open house.
The open house. Yes.
The open house where
Go
a
ahead.
friend of yours was, involved. He went down the street of his house to check out this open house, and one Sunday, he went by himself, or he took his kids.
He took his wife, who was pregnant,
right?
and his little 1-year-old son.
Right. Very nice guy. I know him. He's Coco's friend and stuff like that. Very nice guy.
Very mellow, very understated kind of mellow.
Well, he's what does he do? He's in
Well, yeah, he's a
fighter, like
he's a UFC.
Yeah.
He's a champ.
Yeah,
And
he's
he's
a UFC
a
champ, but you can't tell. I mean,
multi-recognized.
he's fit. He's very fit. He has a good body, but he's not like big like that. So you can say maybe he's playing tennis or he works out at the gym. You can never realize that this guy is a champion, a UFC champion. So anyway,
And there's these guys, if they're not like name brand well known, they don't advertise themselves. These like the pros, the coaches, they're super mellow because they're balanced. They're like all about finding the inner peace.
So he walks into the house with his 1-year-old and his wife being pregnant, and what happens?
I remember he was wearing a shirt.
Oh yeah, that's right. He was wearing a shirt. It was writing something like.
It was something that was. It wasn't Tap Out, but it was a name brand with a fighter's name on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it had a fighter's name on it.
And the agent who welcomed him,
who was also the owner of the property, by the way.
Right.
He was an agent and owner of the property and did the flip himself.
Owner representing himself.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So he walks in and he welcomes him. He's like, "Oh, so you're a fighter?" What did he tell him? Like
he said as he walked in the door, mind you, this guy's looking around. He's looking at the house. He's just seeing his son, and it's like they're doing their thing, walking through. Mind you, a wife had the little carrier. His wife is all of maybe 4 feet tall, but she's really little. And she wears super high heels. In fact, when she's not wearing heels, I'm like, she looks like a child, right? She's but she's so cute and petite. She's tiny, and this guy comes in and he's looking around, and the guy says, not hi, how are you? Hey, thanks for coming to the open house. How are you folks today? He says, opening line, anybody wearing that blank shirt is asking for a fight.
Yeah.
Right, and the way they said it, didn't know what he was talking about. In fact, the guy didn't even hear him because he was looking around the house and paying attention. And then his wife was like, I think he's talking to you, babe. And then he was like, what? Huh? What? And the guy said, you, right there. You want to have a fight? You want to have a fight? Now, mind you, this guy was like a big guy. He said he was like...
bigger than him.
Oh, yeah. This guy's like 5'7", 5'8", on like if he's wearing like super high boots, okay? Not a big guy. And this other gentleman, we'll say gentleman,
Okay.
agent, person, individual running the open house owner.
Right.
For sale by owner again. I didn't realize that. Yeah. He's there and he's calling him out. He's like, you want to have a fight? Let's have a fight. I'm going to have a fight with you wearing that shirt. Let's go for it. And he's looking around. And he's like, are you kidding? He's like, it's looking at the house.
Like for real?
Meanwhile, his wife is like, oh, she says, okay. She picks up the baby and goes, oh, babe, I'll be outside. She's little. She wasn't afraid for him. She was afraid for the guy there. And the guy ended up taking off his jacket, right? And he was like, oh, good. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
And he's like, all right. Okay.
Like here, right now? All right.
Sure.
You got it.
Starts to take off his shoes. Right? The guy who would go to the open house started taking off his shoes and is about to take off his shirt because that's how he fights. Right? And the guy was like, oh, are you into martial arts? And he says, are we going to fight? And he was like,
it's always so funny, even when I think about it, because I know your friend. I know your friend. It's like, I picture it, and it's like so funny.
Because the guy is like so mellow. He's like, You got to be kidding me, right? But the guy kept egging him on, and then all of a sudden he got to it, and he was like, yeah, I mean, we should totally, we should fight. And the guy would come in and he was like, he's like, no, I thought you said you wanted to have a fight right now. Don't you want to have a fight here right now? Isn't that what you just said to me and my wife and my son right here? Isn't that what you just said? And he was like, huh.
Why don't we schedule a date?
He's like, where do you go? And he's like, I own the dojo right over here next to Blank and Blake. And he was like, oh, yeah, I think I've heard of you before. Oh, okay. And they totally backed off. But honestly, if they hadn't, people act so. Can I say stupid? That was stupid.
And
Y'all,
your friend
that was
just
stupid.
happened to be, a fight, a champion in a UFC and something. What if it was somebody else that would just like the shirt and would wear this shirt? So what? This guy would beat him up?
It was trying to make a point every time a guy would come in. I suspect maybe he liked his wife and didn't wanted to challenge it or something. It was very weird, but I think it's, again, a great way to go. Listen, if you're thinking about for sale by owner, don't do it.
Call us.
Just don't do it, please. Don't do it.
You can call CoCo at.
No. You can call us at 855
Right.
2
Big
B
Glam.
That's right.
855 2 Big Glam.
The number 2 BEGLAM. How you like them apples?
Right.
Bobbing for apples for
There you
Halloween.
go.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So that was exciting times. Scary stuff. People do the funniest things.
Then other than that, I have some
More stuff to tell us.
very little stories that from other agents that I spoke with today.
I love these stories. It's such a great dialogue.
I told them what we're putting together for today, and they would like to
Lots of volunteers for stories.
share. Yeah. So I have one, a friend of ours. He said years ago I had the listing. I wrote everything down. He had the listing, and the seller said the house was haunted by a young boy. But all right, yeah, everybody can say whatever. Didn't pay attention, and so this agent published the home on the newspaper, and took a picture and wrote an article and published it on the newspaper. And so he said, well, when my article came out in the newspaper for advertisement of the new listing, there was a young boy, a dark figure of a boy, standing in the doorway of the picture.
I have chills. I know you can't see the rest of my arm, but I have chills. See this part of my arm?
That was creepy.
No me gusta.
That was creepy.
That's creepy.
Can you imagine taking a picture, publish it, and then having a shade, a shadow of
Shadow, like he probably didn't even notice it right away.
Right.
And he probably blew off the guy who was like talking to him about the house. He was like, yeah, okay, whatever. Okay, great. Okay. You never know.
Then I have another one. I was showing a home this past spring, and as we were coming down from the walk-up attic, the door slammed in my face.
What?
I pretended that it was no big deal, but I was instantly unsettled and couldn't wait to leave. Ooh. Do you have anything to relate on that? You want to say?
I have. I've had a few things happen over the years.
I know. You want to say? You want to share?
I'm scared. Okay, these are true stories.
Yeah.
Okay. So there have been a few things over the years. One was, it's interesting how sometimes people will catch it and some people won't. I think in my world, I'm probably more sensitive to these things than others.
Mm-hmm.
I've been in places where immediately when I come in,
You feel.
there was one in particular was in the valley, and I went in. It didn't feel like it was someone who was mad, but the person was definitely there, and they were in the chair. They were in the rocking chair for sure. And the other agent was there with our buyers at the time, and I didn't say anything. No problem. Oh, what are you going to say? Because the truth of the matter is you don't know if anyone else, one, if they're going to not like it, two, if they will like it, three, if they care. And some people really like it. All of these things happen. There's a huge, huge opportunity for people who feel like they have a haunted house. Let me tell you, we can help you sell a haunted house. That's another dialogue altogether. But
you have the right buyers.
Yes. So they came in, and I didn't say anything, and I was waiting just to see what their response was before I always share what I feel anyway, even, no matter what, because that's just the way I roll. Anyway, so we get out of the house, and I walk outside, and I said to my client, like, oh, so how did you like it? She said, I had the weirdest feeling in there. I felt like there was somebody watching us. I'm like, oh, yeah, for sure. I'm like, okay, that's great. No problem. Okay. Then there was another time, this great deal. It was a fabulous deal on a house in Studio City. And it was literally 2,700 square feet, one-story ranch-style house in a beautiful part of Studio City. The list price was $590,000. My client was like so excited, super, super involved and looking forward to going to see it.
That was back in time, I guess.
It was?
Because you can't find it 2,700.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was, and it was it was a great price even then, but it wasn't, it wasn't like hundreds of thousands lower. It was probably 50,000 lower, 60,000 than the market at the moment. And we went in with her and her husband and their daughter, and it was about 7 o'clock in the evening, and I'm telling you, I must have been in thousands of homes, tens of thousands of homes over the years. Went from room to room, and every time I would go in a room, I kid you not, I felt like there was someone standing right next to me the whole time, like almost like they were with me. I'm like, okay, so I'm not going to say anything, but I did sort of jog run from room to room because I was turning on the lights and I couldn't wait to see where they were at because I didn't want to be alone. So, and I got back to the living room, and they sort of split up, and then they came back, and I didn't say anything because, again, I like to make sure people get their vibe. Maybe they like it, maybe they don't, whatever it is. I'll tell them how I feel about it at the end. And she comes to me and she says, CoCo. I said, yeah. She says, I feel like there's someone watching me in here. I'm like, see, it's not just me. Let's get out. Her husband was like, oh, there's someone watching us? He's like, what, with a camera? I'm like, no.
Say about the other one where you felt pushed by the pool.
Oh, yeah, okay. All right, okay. So here's the scariest one of all. So this house was a house that was going up for sale by a friend of mine's family member. They have a long relationship with an agent that they had already had chosen to be their agent. But I was coming to help them get the house prepared for sale. It's their family and all that, so, why not? So I'll go up to this house in the hills of Glendale. And this is a huge house. It's a 1930s home that looks like a beautiful alpine type roof, beautiful, sprawling, open yard, huge property with views. Probably, I think it was about 3,600 square foot home, and absolutely could be renovated into something gorgeous, right? So it had fallen to some disrepair. And I had come there. I was very excited to be hanging out with everybody, and it was left with this person. I showered in. We'll call him Eric.
Yeah.
Eric.
Okay.
Eric's a good name. So Eric and I were there at the property, and he's like, hey, do me a favor. I said, yeah. He goes, I'm going to be up in the front. Would you do me a favor and water this lawn in the back by the pool because the sprinklers aren't working? I said, yeah, sure. No worries. So I'm out in the back, and I'm with the hose and watering around. It's this big yard. And I'm like watering, looking up at the house, looking up at the windows. And I had this flash in my mind of Amityville Horror for some reason, like literally out of nowhere, right? And I'm like, that's so weird. Anyway, la 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 la. I get this push on my shoulder. And my first instinct is how pissed I was at Eric for pushing me by the pool. Because I don't really appreciate it. I'm standing right next to the pool. I really don't need it. And then I turn.
And there was no Eric.
There's no Eric. There's no person. There's no nothing. Yeah. I was very excited about that. But then again, I was like, hey, that's hysterical. Ha, 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 ha. That's great. I'm going inside. So go inside, and Eric's working on something in the kitchen. I'm doing some paperwork. And the door to the bathroom, because in this old style, the bathroom door is right by the kitchen.
Right.
Every time Eric would go to the front of the house and pick up a box or whatnot, that blooming door to the bathroom kept swinging open and shutting, bam, bam. I'm like, after about an hour, I said, Eric, what is the deal with the bathroom, man? What's up? And he's like, oh, don't worry about it. Whenever the window in the bathroom is open, the door slams shut. I'm like, oh, okay. So about another 30 minutes later, it's still going, doing its thing. I end up having to need to use the restroom. And I go in, and the window is shut. And I'm like,
so who slams the door?
Don't say anything. Don't say anything. This is what's happening in my mind. Don't say anything. Don't say anything. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Go home. Go home. Go home. Go home. That's all I can think about, right? And I'm thrilled to death because he finally says, oh, we're going to go. We got to go. I'm like, oh, thank you, Lord. I can't wait to leave. This is fantastic. I don't say anything. And as if that's the end of the story. There's more to the story.
Uh-huh.
So then a few days later, he asked me to come back. And we knew it was going to be a project. So we came back. When we go back, this time the realtor is there. And I'm standing in one archway. He's standing in the kitchen, Eric. The realtor's standing on the other, and the other person that we brought with us was across from me. And we're all listening to the realtor. We're all about 10 feet apart, just sort of standing there. And out of nowhere, boom, it felt like two giant fingers pushed me in the shoulder. And I went like this on the other side now. Now everybody sees me move, and I'm like, more thinking, gosh, I hope they think I have some sort of disorder. I don't know what that was, but I'm scared, and I'm so not going to say anything to anybody right now because I don't know what's going on. So the realtor ends up leaving about 15 minutes later, and now Eric is tossing jokes up in the air, and he's like, hey, what's the matter with you? Why are you twitching over there in the archway? What's the matter with you? And I'm like, man, nothing. And the other guy who's with us, he's like, yeah, why'd you make that face? What was that all about? Why did you move like that? And I said, oh, nothing. I was so stupid. You guys have nothing. I felt like somebody pushed me, and they're like, ha, 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 that's hysterical. You're an idiot. You're so stupid. You're a joke. You're ridiculous. They're like making fun of me. I'm like, oh yeah. I start laughing too. I'm like, oh, that's so funny. Yeah, it is. It's funny, right? It's cool. It's cool. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. So we end up now these guys think they're completely hysterical. They're going to make the day making it about me. I'm like, that's awesome. It's cool. So we all start moving the chairs from the one side of the house closer to the pool, and move the chairs from there. Now it's in the center of the house, and we're moving the chairs there. And each of us, it's the three of us now, each of us takes a box out together, and we go load it in the truck. And when we come back into the house, the chairs are now back in the other room. And I'm like,
I'm laughing, but I'm actually don't.
Oh my eye! I'm like, oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God! Please stop, please. Okay, it's like trying not to panic. I'm like, now mind you, Eric works for the Department of Justice. He is a complete analytical personality and does not believe in anything beyond what is absolutely not proven.
Yeah.
So he's like. Then they start razzing each other. They start saying, "Oh, you moved the chair," and he's like, "No, you did." Then they're blaming each other. Meanwhile, I know they were with me the whole time, and neither one of them could have gone back in. It's not possible. So then Eric says, he's like, "You're such a jerk, unbelievable. There's no way it was me. It couldn't have been me. I was out here." And he's like, I
Right.
was out here.
Yeah.
They both dawns on them at the same moment that they were both there together with me, and it wasn't possible.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like, huh. The laughter starts to turn to this anxious giggle.
They realized that they were all together, so
not good.
nobody was.
Not good for them.
Yeah.
So then, as if that could be the end. No, it's not the end. So then we're packing up more boxes, and again, I'm starting to loosen up again, thinking, okay, well, whatever. Let's keep on going.
Let's say it didn't happen. Yeah.
Let's pretend nothing's going on. So we pretend nothing's going on for about another hour, and then Eric's standing in the kitchen. This other guy and I are standing in the doorway, and he and I are talking it's about something. And Eric says, hey, you guys. And we're probably like 25 feet away from each other. And we're like, yeah. He says, hey guys, come here for a second. I want to check something. Okay. So we both walk over into the kitchen, and he stands in the doorway. And as we walk into the kitchen, we hear boom, boom, above us. There's nobody in the house. By the way, there's carpet upstairs, and it sounds like there's stuff being dragged across the floor. Boom, crash, pull, boom, crash, pull.
Wow.
It was so scary. Mind you, the guy standing next to me now does the Scooby-Doo out of the house. What's
Every
the
time I
Scooby-Doo?
hear this story, I get stressed. I'm like, yeah.
Scooby-Doo is when you leave the person standing there, your feet are spinning,
Right.
and then you run, and the other person's in the dust. That's the Scooby-Doo.
Right.
Those two guys were outside. I was trying to run out of the kitchen fast enough, but those two definitely had left me in the dust.
You were the only girl there, right?
I was. And now these two guys, the guy that we brought that wasn't Eric. Eric's out there smoking like a chimney, and he hasn't smoked in probably 3 years. I don't know where he found a pack of cigarettes. He's smoking like a chimney. He's like, if he could have smoked 4 at one time, he would have. And the other guy is cursing and swearing like a sailor. He's like, whoa, F this and pay that, and oh my God, about it. He's swearing. Eric says, man, there's somebody in the house. We have to go back in. And I said, man, there's somebody in there, but it's not going to help you to go like this. Somehow he grabs a little tiny pocket knife that probably couldn't even cut butter. Okay, I don't know where. I'm like, what are you going to do with this thing? We have got to go back in. We've got to go back in. And I said, okay. He goes, come with me. Come with me, he's telling the guy. The guy's like, I am so not going in there.
There's no way.
He's swearing like a, okay. Grabs it, and he's like, no, you are going in there with me. You're going in there with me. I said, I'll go in with you. And he's like, absolutely not. You're not going in there with us. There's somebody in there. I'm like, there's somebody in there, man. And your knife isn't going to help you. Okay? So the two of them decide they're going to go in. One grabs the camera, and you should see the footage. The footage is just, the guy who was cursing is shaking the camera like this. And the other guy's holding the knife, and they're like, go through every room. There's nobody in the house, guys. We knew this. Anyway, we leave that day. The last time we go back, now mind you, this is like 3 weeks later, a closing of escrow. I'm all stressed thinking about it. My friend Eric is now gathering the last pieces, and he's like, hey, listen, we're going to go see so-and-so after. So I agree to go because we're going to go meet somebody afterwards that I really want to see, right? So we get there. He's like near this a laundry area in the basement. It's probably about 40 feet, like the length of the house. And I'm super excited because we're there like an hour and a half now. And nothing has happened. I've felt nothing. I'm super excited. Maybe none of this really happened.
Yeah.
Maybe. So we get there, and I'm so pleased. He's getting the last pieces. He's down in the laundry. He's like, I just have to get this little box over here. He's in there, and I'm standing at the top of the stairs, and I proudly say, Eric, I'm so excited. Today I don't feel... And as I'm saying the words out of my mouth, this sound comes out. I swear to you, it was just like out of a movie. It was... It sounded like 500 voices at the same time. I've never experienced anything like that before in my life. And I pray that I never experience that again. Kid you not, he turns and looks at me, and he's like, I'm like stunned. I can't breathe. I'm like, wow. Whoa. Like I feel like the energy is being sucked out of me. I can't move. And this sound is like penetrating everything. And he turns and looks at me, and he's like, shh. run. And I'm like, all right, okay. So then I turn around and he's like, by that point, he's behind me and he grabs me. We leave, we lock the door. For the hour and a half ride home, we said absolutely not one word, not one word. And here's the craziest part. 3 weeks after they closed escrow, he gets a call from his buddy who works, because he worked for the government, who's an agent for FBI. The people who bought the house were doing renovations. When they opened up the wall, there were bloody clothes inside the wall.
Wow.
And they were there to do an investigation. So
I'm sure it had nothing to do.
I'm sure it's completely unrelated. I can tell you that house looks, they did a renovation on it. It didn't stay renovated. The house was foreclosed on and it went back again. But it looks the same way I saw it.
Is anybody living in this house right now? Or is it?
I would say that there are things living in the house.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, anybody
I
owns
believe
the house?
It's owned, but
still
it looks.
foreclosed?
It looks. It doesn't look lived in. Not current, but. So this is not a scary real estate story. If you want to learn more about that story, give us a call. What's the number? 855.
2.
The number 2.
Big
Be glam. Yeah. So
Our
we
glam.
could do a whole show just.
Our glam number.
We could totally be on having a haunted series of shows for sure.
Yeah, people, be careful out there. Be careful with your lenders. Be careful with your agents. Be careful at the open houses.
Be careful for sale by owners. Did we scare you? Don't be scared. Listen, we'll be your tour guides for everything. If you feel like you're going into a haunted house, you know who to call. Who are you going to call?
You should be glam and you should call us.
You should call us.
855 be glam.
And we will watch you as you go into the house. No, so kidding. No, we'll go with you. We're brave. We'll do it. We're good. We're here to help you. And if you do have a haunted house, you feel like your house is haunted, and you feel like you don't know who you can ask and what those things are, call us too. We can at least give you some guidance on what to do.
We're gonna have a great show next week. Stay tuned. Many things are going on. We're gonna have updates on everything and a great guest. Until the next one, are we ready?
Sure.
Until the next one,
time,
glam it up, baby.
Boo!
You're listening to Glam Estates Radio with your hosts, CoCo and Gregory, right here on LA Talk Radio.